Hello. So I'm just going to do a quick tutorial about my process here. I know that it might seem like magic, but it is not. It's pretty much math and tools. So here I have a quick painting I did, and I'm going to put this into a repeat pattern. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to canvas size. I was doing pixels, and I like to do a half drop repeat always. It just seems to flow better with the eyes. So here the height is 4143. I'm going to round it out to a whole number, and I'm going to double it in size basically. Now this is where you can overlap or not overlap. So since I'm going to make it an even 8,000, there will be some overlap when I do the second layer. So I'm going to go ahead and make this 8,000. This number is something that you might want to write down. I have it memorized, so I'm not writing it down, but you might need it later. Okay, so now I'm going to view fit on screen. Okay, so now I have my first layer. I am going to duplicate this layer, and I'm going to go over here to my offset filter. We're going to go offset this, and now we're going to do this by half. So this is going to stay where it is in the middle, but we're going to go down half. So remember it was 8,000 before, now I'm making it 4,000. Okay, so I just want to make sure I can see this all. Okay, so now here are your two seams. What I like to do is I make a new layer, and for this particular painting I'm just going to be doing clone stamp tool. So up here is all your settings. I do current and below because what it's going to do is blend the original layer and the copy of the original layer together, but it's going to be in a new layer. This is important because you're going to need to duplicate this one too. Alright, so now I'm going to go to my settings. I'm going to keep the hardness soft. The size, that's about right for me right now. The opacity, let's move this to about 29 is my magic number. And now I'm going to zoom in. Okay, so now I see some mistakes here. I'm going to clean that up too. So let's just use the eraser tool. It's on here probably, or on here. Don't know where it is. Let's see, it's not working. No. There it is. Alright, I had my opacity down. Alright, so we're going to erase that. Erase that. There's some other lines here. Let's make this. Sorry about that. That's my other piece. Okay. I'm gonna make this harder. I'm gonna make the opacity higher. This is my eraser tool. So this is part of some of the white that was left over from before that I didn't erase. That was around my original painting. So I'm gonna erase that. See if there's any other spots. This one, I'll erase this too. Okay. Right here. Some more. Okay. Alright, so now actually this is gonna probably work out pretty nicely. I'm going back to my new layer that I have here. I'm gonna go back to my clone stamp tool. Again, we're at 29%. The size is 54 and I have it all the way soft. So now I'm gonna option and click where what area I want to duplicate. So I'm going to click this area, and now I'm going to spread this, and now I'm doing this click by click so that I can spread this in here. And it's sort of like painting and blending, like as if you had a paintbrush and you were just blending these colors together. So that's what I'm doing here. So that now this looks like these two belong together. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Oh no, I don't like that one, so I'm going to undo it. Now I don't know all of the what's it called? Shortcuts, because I'm pretty much self-taught. So all of that stuff, I just basically taught myself how to do this, so I don't necessarily do it the textbook way. So you're gonna have to find a way that works for you. This is the way that works for me. And so I'm gonna blend these together. And now that looks like they're part of each other. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing here. So this time I'm gonna bring this down. This seems to be a little more interesting, so I'm gonna move this down a bit and blend these sides together. So each time I move this, I'm clicking my mouse. I'll go here. Okay. And now this, I want to see if that, okay, so that is cut off there. So now I have a choice. I can leave some of these disconnected. They don't all have to connect. No, let me see. The rest of my painting is kind of connected, so I'll probably connect them all. These two would be easy to connect because they're a similar color. So I'm going to take this and paint on the inside here. So each of these is a click of the mouse and it's a brush stroke. And this blends these together. Okay. Now this has a really nice edge here, and then you see this is really blurry. So we're gonna want to bring this edge down so that it looks more natural. So I'm gonna option click here, and I'm gonna line this up so that I have a line. And then blend these together. Again, every time I see that symbol, I'm clicking a new spot to copy. And now I'm going to need another one over here. So, I mean, I could use any of these edges here, but this one is closest to what we want. So I'm going to go here and line it up maybe down here. And I'm going to need to continue this one over. So that's what I'll do here. Alright, so I messed up. So I'll do that, blend that back in. And I need one more spot. Just kind of angle. Let's see, maybe this is better. That edge. Yeah, that works better. And now I'm going to blend these. No, it's not perfect, but it will work. I'm going to come here and clean up that edge because there's still some from my blending before. So there we go. So now these are all connected. Next I have to connect this one. So now this is a little trickier because you have two opposite colors and these need to be blended. I'm going to look elsewhere on my painting to see if maybe there's a spot where those two colors blend together. If not, we're just going to kind of fudge in. A little bit over here, but then you have this green that we'd have to work in, which is a possibility. But I don't think that's going to work. So we do have it here where these two colors blend. So I'm going to probably at some point use this area to blend these together. But for now, I am going to take this purple and move it down. So now I'm going to take this one and move it up. Oh, And let's take some here now. I'm going to clean up that too. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Okay, so that's kind of connected there. This side we're just going to have to, let's see, will that work? It might work. I'm just going to extend this out a little bit. Okay, so it's sort of where I want it. I'm going to take more of this in this area. Just give it a blended look. Okay, now this I don't like too much, so I'll try to do here. Get rid of it. Don't like it. Alright, that's kind of good. So now I'm going to go to my eraser, and this I'm going to set the opacity down to about 20%, and I want to make it soft and make it a little bit bigger, and this way I can blend this out. So you won't lose that natural edge. If I went in here with a hard eraser, it would give me a straight line. We want this to look like it was bleeding, so we could do the same here. Okay, now I'm going to clean up this edge. This time I wanted to have a more defined edge because we have an edge there. So I'll put it back up too. And we're going to go really close here. And there you go. So now it looks like I have blended my edges. I might need to go here, but I'm going to fit it on screen. Alright, so I think that when I put this in repeat, this white space might be a problem because there isn't much white space going on here. So I'm probably going to have to add something here. So I'm going to look around and see what would fit best here. So now if you had a pattern that had, let's say, a floral or something, you would do the same thing. You're going to select, I use the lasso tool, and I'm going to pick an area that I think would work there. And I'm thinking like, alright, this is repeated here, so I don't want to be too close. This has the yellow and that coral, so I might go there. Let's see. I think that's what I'll do because it looks like it kind of. So I'm just going to select this area, and I'm going to copy it. So I'm going to go to Edit, Copy Merged, Edit Paste. I'm going to select this and move this up. Now I can move this around scale it, make it smaller. I might not even use all of it, but this will this will close that white gap. Okay, so now that I have that, I'm going to zoom back in, and I'm going to do the same thing I did with those other two layers, and I'm going to blend these together. So let's check our settings. We're good. I'm going to select this area and move this down. So now that looks pretty good. I'm going to move here and blend this one in. So now this looks like they were meant to be. Let's do this again. I'm not happy about that. Let's fix that right away because it's bothering me. Where's that? Oh, there we go. Back to clone stamp. I want to see something where that's coming. Oh, that's coming from down here. Okay. So we just blend, 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 blend. Okay, so now this edge is not too nice. So, and this edge is not nice either. So we're going to figure that out. I'll look around and see if I like an edge. We'll make it a hard edge, or we can make it a soft bleeding edge. I think I would like to do the soft bleeding edge, so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to do the eraser tool. Now set it back down to soft, set the opacity back down, like 17. I'm going to get a little bit closer, and now I'm going to blend this out. So I'm clicking a lot of times. I'm not sure if that's recorded when I'm doing this, but these are lots. These are all, every stroke is an individual click. All right. All right, so now this is ugly, and I'm going to erase that. So this one, I will go back to hard, go back to 100%, and I'm going to just erase that edge. Oh, I went too far. Undo. That's also something I didn't follow my own advice, is that when you do erase, you should do it in short spurts, so that if you, what I mean is like unclick, so that you don't, if you go too far, you won't have to erase and do it all over again. So here, there's an edge that I also want to clear up, but that's something else. So let's finish this part. Okay, and now it's not perfect, so I'm probably going to make this bleed too and not have a hard edge. I'll leave this hard edge, bleed the rest out, just because I think that it will look better. Back down. Really just erase that line. And you can go back in with the clone step, and it's too big. and bleed this out too. So Option click, and this way it looks like it's bleeding a little bit. Same here. Well, it kind of looks like natural bleed here. A little bit better. Alright, so now I'm going to go and view this in actual size to see how this area looks. And if I like it, we're going to duplicate it and bring it down here. So I do like it, and there's no reason for these layers to be separate, so I'm going to merge them. And now I'm going to use this tool, and I'm going to select this area that I just worked on. I go bigger than what I did just to be on the safe side. I'm going to copy this merged, and I'm going to paste it. And sorry about that. I'm going to go to filter offset. Now it's already set to the 4000 from before, so I'm just gonna do that. And now it's down here. So now we have two blended edges, and that's basically my process. Now we'll do the same exact thing on this side, but I'll show you how I do my my offset. So first you're going to go back to canvas size, and we're going to pixels again, and this is 3246. So let's see how much overlap I want. I'm just going to keep it easy. I mean, if I do 6000, it might be too much, because really a double would be 64. So I'm going to go with 6200. Now I have to remember that because I'm going to have to cut that in half. So 6200. Okay, and now I'm going to duplicate these layers. You can keep them separate and do individual offsets for these, but to make my life easy in this particular painting, if I had a lot of elements, I wouldn't merge these. I would keep them separate. But because this is more of an organic piece and an organic painting, I'm going to merge these together because it'll just make life easier. Merging these layers, and now I'm going to offset these. Now we got to go back down here and to do a half drop, this is going to have to be in half, so that's 2000. And now horizontal, because it was 6200, I'm going to make it 3100, and now we have it on both sides. And then I'm going to select an area to work on that is basically, let's say, from here to here in a new layer, and do the same exact process. And now I'm going to copy, once I have this all together, I'm going to copy it 3 more times and offset it. The offset is already on your filter, so you just duplicate whatever you do here. You duplicate it, offset, duplicate, offset, duplicate, offset, until you covered the whole thing, all edges of this. So let me just show you what this would look like, because it's a little distracting right now. Let's put it back to white. And you see all this area here, I'm going to have to erase. So that's here. So it's on here. So I'm going to go back here and erase all this. Let's see what that is. I think that's actually just, that's part of the original painting, but this is not. Right, so that's basically my process. And I'll just continue to work on these seams. And that's it. Right here, there's going to be a hole, so this I'd probably do another lasso